I love it, landfill harmonic. So as I was saying, we did 2 projects with the Army, one on traumatic brain injury, and out of that came this idea of post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's when the soldiers come back and they can't find jobs, or half their body's blown away, or their families left them and there's no medical expense allowance, and they lose their house, and it's a horrid thing. It doesn't happen just to soldiers. It happens to all of us who are losing houses and losing jobs and seeing our money go down the tube, and seeing our government distressing us in big ways. We had a big discussion here at the office today of why are our tax monies being sent to different countries to arm the citizens against the government tyranny, when we have some of that same tyranny here, and they're also trying to take our guns away from us. So if our tax money can be spent for guns for other countries' citizens, why can't the money that we earn be spent on what we would like to use to protect ourselves? So there's a lot of political things that go along with this. There are a couple of articles that we will send to you if you'd like. If you don't want to be sending us to be sending these articles, let us know. We have 3 or 4 that we want to share with you, some of them nutrient related. So we're going to be spending the next hour together on PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and that's not where I want to start. Somebody is running down the hall toward me. She has no audio. She has no audio? Yeah, she cannot hear. Have her call tech support. 866 here. Bring this back. Our guinea pig for this evening is having trouble with audio. So we want to start looking at this idea of post-traumatic stress disorder and associated with traumatic brain injury. Having to stay alert for days and days at a time, like a new mother that listens for every little thing that happens to the new baby. That hypervigilance takes a toll on the body. And we've discovered some nutrients that helps work with this. And we want to share that with you, and a way to look at it, and a way for you to share it with other people. I'm trying to talk to 2 people at once here. My microphone will keep me from attending. I don't understand what that means. Yes. So this is our soldier cemetery. Every day, every statistic you read, more soldiers are killing themselves. And just regular humans are killing themselves. They've lost their house. They've lost their family. Their savings have been devastated. IRS is after them. Audits. So a lot of things going on that's causing stress here. It ends up being a distorted reality. As you'll see the picture here, a picture of a skeleton, and then a lady looking into the skeleton as if it was a mirror. This is a story that was sent to us. Before killing himself with a single gunshot, Private Kiefer Wilhelm calls his mother twice from Iraq. Is she going to be able to do this? If not, she can call in and listen. You want to have her just call in. This is the 1-881 number. She could do that probably easier. Okay, back to the story. He had volunteered to leave for Iraq before the rest of his unit and joined a brigade with a mission of training Israeli security forces. His family said he wanted to make a career out of the military and talked about becoming a military police officer, following in the footsteps of his brother, who was in the Air Force. His mother, whose father retired from the military, told him he'd make new friends and things would get better. He said, "Mom, no, it won't. I hate it here," she said. That was the last time they spoke. He committed suicide shortly thereafter. We created this program in hope of being able to do away with that. So we're going to start with the nano voice and show you how to use some of the software. Nano voice is free. The textbook is free. The class is free. Just go to our site, soundhealthoptions.com, and you can download Nano Voice. Now, for those of you who've been with us a while, BioDiet is going to be taken down this week and replaced with PTSD. So if you know anybody that you think would want the BioDiet software for the next few days, get in touch with them. Let them download this. The booklet, the instructions are all there, and there are several happy hour archives that they can go look at all of the recent videos and classes that we've done. Is she going to call in?
She's not answering the phone call. She might be with the technical people on the other line.
Okay. So as we move on, looking at the Nano Voice, you just download it. And what happens with the Nano Voice is that you start speaking into it, and you get 500 hits, and the computer divides your voice up into different categories. Notes of C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E. And we have depicted what these 8 nutrients are using the Nano Voice. But we look at the color, we look at the height of each of these columns. Yellow meaning intellectual, blue emotional, green the doer, and red the responder, like the fireman. So we begin looking at this. So we could tell that this is an intellectually emotional person. John F. Kennedy, subject to be born free. G, note of G indicates physical prioritizing. And on the Nano Voice site, there are charts that you can download that teach you each piece of this. We only have an hour, so we're going to move through this quickly. So you want to look at the blue as emotional, somebody feeling blue, farmer. Green, they have to think all year about what's going to happen. They think ahead. The yellow is the thinker. I don't know how to equate that, but the red is the responder, the reactor. So we look at how tall the columns are. 80 hits, too high. 42 is about average, and 2 is too low. So if you look at the chart that you can download, the note of C deals with ego. So if ego is too low at 20, you probably could get run over easily. 42, put a normal ego, and 80, you probably try to run over other people. So let's start looking at some of these nutrients. The first layer of nutrients, calcium, niacin, linolenic acid, and zinc. Linolenic acid is a fatty acid. Zinc is a mineral from peanuts, calcium from cheese and milk and dark leafy green vegetables. Niacin. I don't think I know where niacin comes from. We have a lot of people and a nice chat going on here. Can somebody look up where you get niacin? I think nuts and legumes maybe, but I don't want to say that without some support. Moon, can you look that up for me? So if you see the note of C way low, like 3 or 4 down here, you maybe could conclude that that person doesn't have enough zinc. So they could eat peanuts or whatever zinc comes in, and that might support it. One of the ways you can tell zinc is low is your hands don't open and close jars very easily. Linolenic acid, wheat germ, although I'm reluctant to ask people to eat wheat germ. So linolenic acid, if somebody would look that up and where that comes from. Fatty acids, calcium. If it's too high, it could mean that it's not being useful. And the body needs more information and more support on how to use it. So we have something called a nutrient assimilation chart that people can download right from the software page. It's a green chart. And if we look at, say, zinc, which is a mineral, and zinc is high, then we know that we need these other things to make it useful: copper, calcium, phosphorus, selenium, vitamin A. And here's what you need to make calcium work: phosphorus, magnesium, essential fatty acids, and da-da-da. This chart's waiting for you on our site, soundhealthoptions.com, under the downloads. So these are the first 4 that we look at. And if something is higher than normal, higher than 42, then it may just not be working well, and you need to go back to that chart and look at its sister components. The second layer that we look at is progesterone, which is a hormone that both... Oh, Laura, we hear you. You're on.
Oh, yay!
Okay, I'm going to mute you for right now.
Thank you.
I think tech support helped her. Okay, Moon says, I guess this is nice, and dairy, eggs, enriched bread, cereals, fish, lean meat, legumes, nuts, poultry. Okay. Okay, one of the other things is calcitonin that Richard is mentioning in the chat. Calcitonin is the note of C. So to get calcium to work, I'll back up one chart here. To get calcium to work, you also need a normal amount of C, which controls, it's the controller for calcium. It is controlled by the parathyroid hormone. So this is the first level of defense. This is the second. Progesterone, which is a hormone that is used by both males and females. Magnesium, a mineral. Pantothenic acid and linolenic acid should not be here. This should be B5. No B5s there. It's choline. So as I look at this, I've got an error here. Choline. These are all important for neurotransmitters, for energy, and to help manage the control from your head to your muscles. So cell signaling. So these are the things that you are going to look for. Whether or not they're too high or too low. 42 is average. If they have 500 hits, and this computer program stops at 500. Zinc, linolenic acid, calcium, and niacin. And second layer, progesterone, choline, magnesium, and B5. You can also get calcium pantothenic. So just looking at those all together, C and C sharp, D sharp and E, G, G sharp and A, and B. If those are level across at 42 hits, then you're all fine, well, and good. For any of you guys listening or watching and you don't know how to get into the chat, go up to this little green tab at the top or bottom of your chart and just hit chat. there is a ton of wonderful information coming through on this chat. So we are going to look at a vocal print using Nano Voice, just to show you how you can do it for absolutely free. Well, that's not true. You have to have a computer, and you have to have a decent microphone. So if you want microphone information, we can do that. We're going to send you the suicide. What other charts would you like? Maybe this page. This is number 33 on this chart that I'm using. The other thing to look at is something called sonocards, and this makes it really easy that you can look at each of these notes and see what amino acids and enzymes. And you can call the office about sonocards if you want. It just makes your life easier than having to scribble all this down and see what's going on. So we have a guinea pig, and we are going to look at her voice in terms of these nutrients using the Nano Voice first. So this is the Nano Voice. Boy, that's a bright orange. You simply accept, saying you're doing this for data collection. You don't want to heal anybody. People heal themselves. You're not an FDA agent, and on and on and on. So we're going to open Laurel's mic. You are unmuted now, Laurel.
Okay. Now, I don't know if my mic is working. But
We hear you fine.
good. Okay, then I can hear you fine without the mic.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to hit this little microphone, and the instructions for this are at nanovoice.org on our site under downloads. I'm going to hit this, and it will allow me to choose the microphone that's set up. Once I hit OK, even before, you're going to start talking, and you're going to watch this 0, and you're going to go to 500 hits, and it'll just automatically stop. So you don't stop in the middle. But just
Sherry, I don't see, I'm not on Nano. Do I?
Are you sharing the computer with us?
Yes, I'm on the page that says, well, I just heard you, but now you got, guys, I'm getting silent here.
You can't see what we're doing at all?
I can see you. It's dark and Sherry, the host, and Ann Richards. Maybe there's a record button on my screen. Should I hit that?
No. We are sharing a monitor. What you're seeing are participants.
Right.
The screen is not being shared.
Okay.
Is anybody else not seeing the Nano Voice screen? Am I sharing screen 2 or something? Everybody else can see it, so we're just going to pretend that you can. I'll come back and stop you then.
Okay, good.
And you're going to tell us about your emotional stress and what you want to learn about yourself, okay?
Okay.
So go.
Okay, I was hoping to get some help around the anxiety that I feel, and just trying to get on the line today is creative. I'm just sweating, and I spend a lot of my day anxious, and I don't know if it's something I eat or if it's medicine that I'm taking, and I'm hoping to get some help or some insight into what's going on with me. So my heart races at times. It's just that it's almost like I feel like I'm separate from my body at times. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but that makes sense to me. And so I'm hoping that by looking at my voice, I can get some feedback.
Okay, well, we have information up now on the chart. In front of us is a chart that I'm going to type your name in. And I'm going to put anxiety. Now, these are topic, I can't even spell anxiety, A-N-X-I-E. these are topic specific, and you can put other information down here, the date you did it or whatever, but a name is what you essentially need, and I am going to save this by hitting the little floppy drive, and it'll say, what do you want to save this as? I'm going to put in your name so we can come back and look at this. Now, for the moment, I'm going to move this over and bring back that screen. And we have a screen in front of us that I am going to superimpose your vocal print over.
And I can see you now. So.
Okay, so maybe you just have a slow connection. So we are looking at magnesium at 282. We're looking at B5 at 117. Those are serious issues, and you said you feel like your heart is racing. When magnesium is stressed, you feel like your heart is racing. It also helps make blood sugar balance. B5 is incredibly important in looking at how the muscles feel and how they signal each other. It's almost like there's too much energy to be in your own body.
Oh, that's exactly what it's like.
So we're going to go back to that nutrient assimilation chart, and we're going to look at if I can find it.
So I have far too much magnesium.
It is not working. And this is the same thing that you can do for any of your clients, people. Just compare them to this chart, and I'll send this chart to you with these 8 things on it. So magnesium, calcium, iron, the B vitamins, and B5 is one. Vitamin E assists with calcium and potassium, but mainly the magnesium is not working. Now, there is something called BioMag. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but it's a fizzy kind of drink, and it has everything in it to make magnesium work. There is also B vitamins that as a group, you can buy them, but pantothenic acid, B5 complete, from a source, a food source, like nutrients or Revive or Nature Sunshine, one of those food-based nutrients for magnesium and B5. Can you see why when we look at your chart?
No. Well, I mean, that's...
Your B5 should be 42. It's like 3 times as high as it should be. And the magnesium...
It just stopped the chart practically.
Yes. You need either more magnesium support, and that's what the BioMag is about. Now, these notes are in general terms. This may not be exactly magnesium. We're sort of guessing. We're trying to get close. But like I said, they're topic specific. So when you talk about being anxious and upset through your own voice and your recurrent laryngeal nerve, the voice tells us what information it needs. Now, just as important as things that appear too much, you have things that are too little. They don't show up in your chart at all. So zinc, linolenic acid, progesterone, calcium, all of which you can buy at a good health food store.
Right.
I have to sneeze, so hold on a minute. Oh, I should have turned off the mic. Oh. So, thank you, May. May brought me a Kleenex. So we need to look at magnesium's not working well, but these others are gone. It may be that just this magnesium issue is so overwhelming that may be the cause of it. We would like you to find a source of BioMag or bioavailable magnesium, and report back to us in a week or so about how you feel.
Okay. And then keep taking the magnesium that I take. I take it in a electrolyte mixture.
Well, you can take it all you want, but you don't have the right support.
Right.
It's not a complete magnesium, or it would be working better. Or you could be totally overdosed, but that's a mighty big overdose, like 7 or 8 times normal.
Wow.
And if it really was the electrolytes, it looks like the rest of them would be overabundant. But your kink seems to be magnesium. These should be about the same height columns all the way across. So nutrients missing and nutrients that are too much, both should be considered. Now, this is the computer program that we think we want to put up, but we've got to get information from you guys. Is it going to be worth it to us? Is there enough people interested? Hold on a second. Is there going to be enough people interested for us to go out and pay to have this done and then turn around and supply it to you guys for free? We don't want to do it for just a few people, but if there's enough people interested and will let me know, then I will go ahead and pay to have this done. Okay, we're going to do the same information again, only we're going to look at specifics. I'm going to run a program called Audacity, and you can get that for free from audacity.sourceforge.net. Now, if somebody will type that in, that would be great. We're going to take a 30-second sample of your voice. Now, there is a booklet about this waiting for you also on our site. Bioacoustic Basics gives you all the steps on how to do all of this and how to turn it into a consulting practice for yourself. So there's a Bioacoustic Basics book that you can download, and this is just from our site, from Downloads Radiation. You can also get it from Downloads BioDiet. The information is a little different for each program. So with Audacity, we're going to hit this red button, and you're going to talk for 30 seconds, 10, 20, 30, 40.
Okay, start now?
Okay, hold on. There's one question somebody has asked. Yes, with these free programs, you can start a bioacoustic practice. You need to have a computer and a microphone, which is going to be less than $30 for the microphone. And I will send you information about what microphones work best. So we're going to hit the red button and start the recording. So go ahead. Just start talking.
Okay, I also have Parkinson's, and or I've been diagnosed with Parkinson's 15 years ago, and I think that contributes to my anxiety, depression. But I felt from the beginning that that it was really something else. That there's something else going on inside my body that is causing the symptoms of Parkinson's. So.
Okay. All that running in the background is May trying to catch somebody on the phone that's trying to call us. The relationship between Parkinson's and anxiety, or the feelings in the muscles that you're feeling, is B5. The frequency for B5 is also the frequency for a GABA receptor, and GABA is a precursor to dopamine. So we try to talk about this a little bit under Bioacoustically Speaking, where we put up information about, bioacoustically speaking, almost everything is something else. A consistency with anxiety, PTSD, and Parkinson's is B5, because just like this little thing over here looks like a bunch of blocks, sort of look at it from the side. Has anybody figured what this is, what it really says? No, just look at the white. No sex E-X, causes, C-A-U-S-E-S. No sex causes bad eyes. So just like this is some silly pieces of black pegs here, it also means something if you look at it in a slightly different way. And that's one of the things that we look at with Parkinson's, that B5 is very instrumental in cell signaling, but it's also the same frequency as the precursor for GABA, which helps make dopamine. So a lot of information going on here.
Now, do you suggest how much to take of?
We can't suggest anything. That would be, I'd be practicing medicine and I'd get into trouble.
Okay.
We could look at, I'll show you how we can look at B5 and see how much of a dose you should take. So we've got our 30 seconds here. I don't see anything in here that tells me this is not a good vocal print. We maybe could take out this little scraggly stuff right there, or if the parrot was squawking or something, you could cut it out. But we're going to save, we're going to export it as Laurel anxiety. And I'm going to put it in a WAV file. The next thing I'm going to do is put it in something called Abacus. And Abacus is one of the free programs that you can download from Radiation or BioDiet, but note that you can only download those for 30 days. You can join the Guardian program, and then you get them for a full year. A year is as long as it will last without us rewriting the program. Now, what did I just do? Didn't I put, oh, there it is, Laurel Anxiety. A darker gray grid will come up here. And if this was B5, then you would take more of it than if this was B5. You can look at where B5 is on this chart and know what your dosage should be. But the frequencies for B5 are only provided to professional practitioners. So we know that B5 was a, what, an A? So we could look at the notes of A. This looks like a long-term issue to me. Over here on the right side is long-term. This is the now. Looks pretty good in the now, except right here. And your predictive looks pretty good, too. So that, to me, says there's potential to fix this.
Oh, good.
So we click this little round red points here, and we say, tell us what the issues are. Now, it gives us 24 points that it thinks are higher than the norm in this gray grid or lower. Now, some of these I don't like. I don't like it that it didn't pull this point because it's very wide and very open. So I'm going to choose the point that is highest inside the grid or near the grid that we may not need. That would be 1. But I think I want to keep that because it's open. Several here. I think I want to get rid of this one. And using my left mouse, just roll over that, and my right mouse, just say, yes, I want to insert that. And that was a high. We need to look at directionality, what's high and what's low. So that looks pretty good to me. And I'm going to put in Laurel. And I'm going to put in the date today. 06/18/13. And online. And the issue is anxiety and Parkinson's. We don't have a date of birth. I'm going to fake one. And now we're going to save this list of frequencies, just the list of frequencies. get this little Rubik's Cube looking thing. Again, all these instructions are in that Bioacoustic Basics book. And we're going to save this in another file that we can quickly identify. I'm going to call it Genesis, GNS. And now we have that file. So we took the vocal print using Audacity. Oh, it didn't appear there. We took her vocal print. This is all of her words. We translated those words into frequencies from 0 to 1,000 cycles per second and looked at where they were out of line, where they were not within this gray coherence line. We asked the computer to choose 24 points. Now we're going to go into PTSD as a program. And it's easy to just drop her in there. We go looking on that file, that GNS file. It drops all of our demographics in. It lets us choose what kind of reports we want to look at. We know that B5 was an issue, or we think it was. So let's just look at her vitamins first and see if that A really was B5 or was it something else. It's choline, which also is a note of A. Choline, it was one of our notes. Remember when we looked at this? Choline was one of the notes. But we had linolenic acid on here twice. I need to change that. Linolenic acid is a note of C sharp, so good thing I changed this before you guys are going to get it.
Now, did you say I have too much choline or too little?
Well, look, we can figure this out. High. And it can't really be high because it's water soluble. So back to that, back to the chart, and that's the wrong one, but I'm going to share this with you anyway in just a few minutes. I forgot where I got it. So we can look at the B vitamins and look at choline and see what else is needed. Folic acid, inositol. So that is too high. It's not being utilized well. One of the other things that we can do, since you're on a phone way over there someplace, we can increase our variance where we're looking. I'm looking at a very, very small variance for what the frequencies are. So when I change the variance to look larger, it still doesn't include the B5. The other one was magnesium that we wanted to look at, and that's a mineral. Look at that. Magnesium, 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 magnesium. So we could rule out that B5, and it really is choline there, but the magnesium is still an issue, and so is vanadium. So let's look at magnesium and vanadium. Magnesium, calcium, iron, B groups, vitamin E. Vanadium, do not take vanadium supplements the same time as chromium. Athletes need more. Well, it doesn't tell me much, but you certainly could go to the internet and look it up.
Yes, I'll do that.
Let's look at some of the other things. We just look at one at a time. But one of the things that we can do, and this will show you how you can do it with many other people, I'm going to make a file for you.
Well, it's interesting. It says it may cause depression on all four of the vanadium.
Let's look at it again. Yes. Well, this means when there's exactly the same printout, it means that it's appeared twice on your chart. Now, we did not include vanadium as part of PTSD. We just included the 8 common to all of the soldiers that we did, and vanadium was not a common one. It likely would be common to people who also had a blood sugar issue.
Yes.
So one of the things we can do with this report, I'm going to go in and say I want to make this a PDF, which means I want to bundle it and put it in a format that I can send it. So I can say OK and then go up and print. Again, all of these instructions are in that Bioacoustic Basics. And it'll come up and say, what do you want me to do with this chart? And I'm going to say, I want to go to the desktop and put it in the chart that we marked Laurel. Can't open this file. I don't want you to open it. I just want you to store it in there. Okay. My Adobe Reader is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. We just put this computer up. Adobe is supposed to be working. And what's supposed to happen here is when I ask it to run these reports, send to printer, print setup, PDF. Again, all the instructions are there. And let's make all of these reports come up. Now this is waiting for you over here on, oh, don't want to see that. I want to go over here. When you go to downloads in the radiation software, there's articles there. How to turn a report into a PDF. How to take a vocal print using Audacity. All of these different charts are here. And inside the pastel folder is all of the instructions. Well, supposed to be all of the instructions. No, pastel. Got to write myself a note. When you open this up, let's see which one is this. This is radiation. Let's see if it's on biodiet. If we can look at some of that pastel folder information. No, it's supposed to open up instructions for you to market this and send it to other people. We will have to fix that. I'll see if we can get it fixed tomorrow. But let me see if, let's just do it with one. Let's just do minerals and say hit report. Now see, there's the mineral report already in there that it told me it couldn't read. So it was just lying to me. So I'm going to check all. Well, I don't need minerals again. And say report. And let's see if we can get them all put in there. The vitamin report. Toxins, if there's any of that. Proteins, we'd go back and look at that. Look at all this stuff it's opening and I just don't want to see it. Meds. Hormones. So we'll be bundling these and sending them to you along with the set of instructions. And the instructions are in that pastel folder, and you guys are going to have to wait till tomorrow to be able to look at that because I thought they were up. I'll try to get them up. Yes, Richard says if choline is too high, time to do a methylation chart, which is how the body is using its resources. But what I'm going to run her through is the anxiety program. I'm hoping your computer is set up a little different from mine and won't be doing all these shenanigans on you. I don't know how many times it's going to do this. Okay, now we should be able to open Laurel's charts. And there's all the charts that we did. We should be able to send them right on an email to her. Now, before we do, and I don't know if we're going to find it here, but I'm going to certainly look for it. It's Read Me First in the pastel folder. So this is my little hard drive. And this is what's supposed to be in that pastel folder. Read Me First. This is how anybody can look at their charts and, okay, if it's low, it means this. If it's high, it means this. And here's what's going on. We leave room here, and we leave this as a Word document so you can take our information out, contact me at soundhealth@blah-da-da, and you can put in your email to make these all personal to you. So the first thing is you send them is Read Me First. The second thing is steps to interpretation. Find the Read Me First paper, then do this, then do this. So it gives you step by step on how to interpret all of these files that are coming at you. A report cover, nice little report cover that you can put your name and address in. And if right after this presentation you run out and buy a microphone, you can certainly start your own business just with all of these freebie things here. So I send this first, and there's the information on how to turn it into the PDF file, the nutrient assimilation chart, everything in here. Now we don't want to give out Laurel's, oh, there's the cover sheet, ended up over there. So this is where your nearest practitioner is, and you can put your information in there. Oh, okay. We have Laurel's information here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it blank at first. Yes, I really do have 29,000 emails. I'm going to put in the subject profile instructions. And I'm going to go over to where that pastel folder is. And just here's how to turn it into a PDF report if she wants to do that. There's the nutrient assimilation chart. There's Read Me First, steps to reporting. And if I wanted to fill in my name and address here, we could just send those over to her. And I usually send these, like I said, about a half hour early, because if you don't, people will not read the instructions. They'll just jump to the charts. So I'm going to move this over here and put her address in, because this will be open to the public and up on our happy hour site in tomorrow. And I don't want her getting lots of junk mail. So we're just going to send it that way.
Thank you.
Oh, I just spelled your name wrong. So I'm going to have to go back to sent mail and do this again and forward it to you. But you'll be able to quickly start looking for that magnesium piece of information. The next thing I'm going to do, maybe in a half hour or so, I'm going to take all those reports that we put in here. I'm going to make another email for her and say reports attached. Maybe down here I'll say enjoy and snap on the top one, hold down shift, go to the bottom, move them all over there to the email, and they will attach themselves in just a few minutes. And then I'll go ahead and send this to her. Well, maybe it will attach itself. There it goes. Okay, she said she was experiencing anxiety. So let's go to another program, anxiety. And we have everything ready now because we've already pulled the points. We've already looked at her chart. So all we have to do is open the client in our GNS file, find Laurel's file, drop it in, and now we can do this all over again, but look at it in terms of anxiety. So let's look at those minerals again because we know that's one of the things that was the problem. And this will give you a different printout. Now, why isn't it giving me magnesium? I know, because the variance is not the same. When you're doing somebody's voice over the phone, you want as wide a variance as you can because your computer frequency measurements may be a little different from theirs. So if we run this now, we'll see the other two probably. I still don't see the vanadium. Now, vanadium, it said, deals with depression. They didn't put it in the anxiety program. But there's the magnesium again. Phosphorus, it's not likely that phosphorus is low. It's just, that is so abundant that it's probably everywhere. Let's look at maybe some of your proteins that deal with anxiety, activators, biochemicals, cell salts. She said she's taking lots of cell salts and genes. We can pick and choose what we want. Activators, hippocalcin, low, a calcium-binding protein that belongs to the neural calcium sensor. Now, you can't go by that, I don't think. And it looks like it's out in 3 or 4 places here. You would have to go to a bioacoustic practitioner to have that activated. If you can't buy it over the counter or the doctor can't get it for you, these would have to be supported. So calcium is one of the major issues for anxiety and PTSD and Parkinson's. So it looks like you've got some activator here that's causing a piece of that. We would send this report to your local bioacoustic practitioner, whoever that is. Amino acids, acetylcarnitine, now that can mess up your ability to use fatty acids. Glutamic acid, excess associated with anxiety and detox. Histidine, high histidine makes people feel anxious all the time. They're overstimulated all the time. Methionine, another amino acid, will help ameliorate that.
What is the amino acid?
Histidine, the last one you see here.
Yes, but you said one that would help.
Well, if you look at our chart again and look at the amino acids and look at histidine, methionine lowers, and you can buy that at your health food store.
Okay.
B6 also lowers, and you have that in stress. I saw it go by P5P, which is the form of B6 that helps use of histidine. So again, too high. And methylation is where you'd want to go. When you see amino acids too high, you need to look at your mapping, you need to look at your sulfur, you need to look at how the body detoxifies. Potassium chloride too high. Genomes. Candida high. Although yours doesn't sound like Candida. Candida, it's low-key. It's not like what you're experiencing. And cholecystokinin is from the pancreas and helps digestion. Again, that might be an indicator that you have a blood sugar issue. There's that magnesium again. Corticotropin-releasing hormone, that's adrenal stress. Neuropeptide Y low. When it gets high, it can cause seizures. And there's that P5P, that's low. Converting B6 to an active form. That has a lot to do with repleting your DNA. So those are the things that it showed. We can bind those and send them to you. Richard suggested that we do your methylation.
Okay.
So if we look at a clean methylation map, and here's the P5P that was in stress. I do believe the sulfur is in stress, but it's very easy to jump to the next program. There's the methionine. But I want to show you something before we jump away from this one. If there's no intervention in this, this is what's going to happen. These are the things. Your hormones are going to go, more corticotropin information, histamine, magnesium. So this is predictive. This is better for muscles, but you can certainly do it with predictive. One of the things that I like to do with all of these programs, I'm going to use this one as nutrition and open a couple of these. And you can begin to cross-reference. This is a program that you get free with your Guardian membership. So if we look at this cocktail search for magnesium, IUM, what was another thing that she had in stress? Phosphorus, vanadium.
Choline, wasn't it?
Pardon?
Choline.
Choline, okay. So if we run both of these and organize them by use, you begin to see what is the cross-reference. Fat and cholesterol metabolism, is that in here? Fat decreased by high something, I can't read it. Let me move it over. So you can begin to cross-reference these nutrients and to see what's coming down the pike for you. Is a vitamin coenzyme, it's beneficial to Parkinson's. Alcohol, no. Cells, no cells. Fat, found in brain, heart. Nuts, gallbladder regulation. Don't see that here. Lecithin formation. Liver, memory, nerve transmission. Is there a nerve here anywhere? MN. There you go. Nerve transmission, nerve transmission. So the commonality of those two things you have at issue, and you can open 10 of these if you want, is nerve transmission. And if the transmission becomes erratic, what's called a neurotic neuron firing, Not neurotic as emotionally stressed out, but neurotic as in it's just not in the right progression that it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Then these are the two issues that are common in your chart. We could put calcium in here because that was one of them. And a potassium cell fault showed up. Arthritis. Calcium replenisher, calcium high levels. Bones, cavities, cholesterol. I don't see depression in here. Digestion. But as you cross-reference these, you get a lot more information in what is going on. She had a potassium issue.
They were all too high. I mean, everything we looked at practically has been too high.
Well, it's that methylation map that we really should go through, but we're out of time. You can get in, if you have a local practitioner, get in touch with them. Thank you, Richard. That was sweet. Richard just wrote me a little private note. So let's look at vanadium. Bone formation, needed for bone formation. So without those two, you may be looking at osteoporosis. There is so much in these programs that it takes you, the human, to make the connections for your client. And you had some things in here also, like the activators or some. Well, most of these you can get from your local health food store.
Okay.
So read. I just sent off the information to you, the other reports. Read your instructions. Lay all of your reports out and start looking at the correlations. And if the correlation appears twice, it means that it was on there 2 times, and that really is a serious issue. We have 71 programs, 17 that we hope to be able to share with people. If you want to look at where they are on our site, all the different programs, I think software list. The ones that are in, click here. The ones that are in boxes are the ones that we're going to be sharing the rest of the year. And we have been doing this by popular request. So if you have one that you would like to see us do, we've done biodiet, we did biohazard, we did allergies, but we just keep rotating them to help people gather enough of these computer programs so that they can start a bioacoustic center in their community. Health for the people, by the people. And as we look at these rations, a new thing came out today, there's a deductible. Not only are you going to only be able to spend this much money, but you've got to spend this much of your own money. I think it's $2,000 a person. You've got to spend that much money before they start paying anything for you. There's so many hidden agendas in this health care bill. Some of it I love. For instance, it makes us way more important because people are going to start getting more healthy. They have to, because nobody's going to take care of them if they get sick. People are going to start thinking about what they eat and what they put in their mouths and their stomachs. Yeah. So that's a good thing about Obamacare, or whatever you want to call it. And if it wasn't Obamacare, it's going to be some other health care bill. I would just like him to do it with some sense. Another good thing about the health care bill is that it allows kids to stay on their parents' insurance longer, so they aren't taken advantage of by colleges that cost them an exorbitant amount of money to have insurance to even attend college. I was trying to think of the atrocious thing about it is that Congress has exempted themselves, And I really have a problem with that. If it's good enough for us, it's good enough for them. So if you want to be a part of helping spread the word, spread this software, you can even end up teaching this software to your community. We will supply the software. If you want to get 10 people together and do a class on biodiet and charge them $50 for the day and how to use the program, we will supply you the software for you to reach those 10 people. This helps spread the word. It helps raise some money for you. It's a win-win situation for everybody because you're also helping them keep more healthy. So I think it's a great idea. And thanks for being here. We hope we've helped you, Laurel. You're going to report back to us next week after you've taken some biomag or some kind of magnesium that is fully bioavailable. You said you take some already, but it doesn't seem to be the right kind. It's just accumulating in your system. We'll send you a reference for the biomag, these couple of articles. There was one chart I wanted to share before we leave, and it is about substances that destroy nutrients. So you probably can't see this very well. Let me make it a little bigger. Alcohol, antacids, gout drugs, anticonvulsants, aspirin. If you would like a copy of this chart, and I don't remember where we got it, and I don't think the link is up here. If anybody finds it online, let me know and we'll include the link. But we just wanted to help you use your nutrients in an optimal way. So in looking at PTSD, remember calcium, zinc, linolenic acid, and niacin. And the second layer, magnesium, B5, progesterone, and choline. If you just look at those for your client, you'll be helping them establish a good foundation for their emotional health and strength. If you love this show, please pass it on to the people in your network. This will be up tomorrow, this hour, for anybody who wants to pass it on. I think we're going to post it on Facebook, but if you guys could help us spread the word and spread the word that there's also going to be this free software, we would really appreciate it. Thank all of you for being here. We'll be doing it next Tuesday. I don't know what the subject is, but they have something planned. I just go along, and whatever's on the schedule, that's what I end up doing. Glad we could help you, Laurel. Thanks for being our guinea pig.